friends.
Hello, everyone.
We can only see like 3 or 4 of you. Hello, cousin Carolyn. Nice to see you.
Carolyn.
All right. Hey guys, thanks for joining us. My name is Matthew Swanson.
My name is Robbi Behr.
Proud member of the class of 1997.
As am I.
All right. So we're going to give you a little housekeeping at the beginning here.
Yes.
As you know, this is a Williams winter study course. As such, we're going to refer to each other as Professor
Swanson
for the remaining of the engagement
We're
today.
not going to remember that, but yeah.
We're going to talk to you about some things that we know and do for about, I don't know, half or 2/3 of the time. We're going to make some stuff together.
Yes.
So what do they need to get, Robbi?
You need to get some number of sheets of paper.
10 pieces of paper.
10 pieces. It could be 10. It could be fewer.
Get 100 if you want.
Get a pair of scissors.
Okay.
If you have a stapler on hand, little stapler. We have a giant stapler that we're going to use.
Robbi's going to brag about our stapler now. We have 2 giant staplers if you really want to brag about it.
Scissors and paper. That's all you need.
Something to draw with, right? You know, something to make your mighty mark upon the world. Before we get any further, I want to say we are here today as guests of the Society of Alumni that is celebrating its 200th anniversary. It's Bicentennial this year.
Us alums are so old, guys.
You may not know, but we have the oldest such alumni association of its kind in the country, and
perhaps in the world.
We haven't checked with everyone in the world, but we think that's the case. In any case, think of the BICE as the Society of Alumni is a very inclusive place. Everyone is welcome. This year of reflection and celebration, we're going to look back on the college, and we're going to think about our future and about our exciting future as a college, as an institution, this great college that so many of us had a great experience with. So thanks for joining us today, fellow alums and children of fellow alums, and somebody's mom was on. Welcome the mom of someone. All right, so you guys, why are we here today, Robbi? We are...
You go first.
I'm an author.
Yes, and I'm an illustrator, and we make books together.
We do. And
yes.
Just the important thing we want you to know at the outset is I'm an author because I say I'm an author. And Robbi?
I'm an illustrator because I draw pictures and I say I'm an illustrator.
So you don't have to get any sort of special permission from anyone.
Not any more complicated than that, you guys.
If you guys want to be an author or an illustrator, say you are and just do it. So okay. So we're also an author and illustrator because we've made books together. So we're going to show you some books. These are picture books. What's this, Robbi?
Books we did. Babies Ruin Everything.
Everywhere Wonder. We'll talk about this a little bit later. We've made a middle grade mystery series called The Real Mccoys.
Ooh, guys, I just want to point out for everyone.
Okay.
Look how many pictures are in this book. I would like everyone to take a moment to please applaud Robbi's hard work on this book.
I don't get any credit for the 37,000 words in that book.
I mean,
Robbi's all about the 1,000 illustrations in that book.
Pictures worth 1,000 words. I think it all evens out.
All right, fine. Book 2 and book 3, these are about Moxie Mccoy, self-declared super detective, and her little brother Milton, who work together to solve mysteries. They're very different. They need both of their skill sets.
It's super fun. Lots of fun, lots of pictures. Super funny.
Upcoming super secret sneak peek, you guys. Our next series called The Cookie Chronicles comes out in March. These are handmade copies of the first 2 books. So we're going to talk about making books in a second.
It hasn't actually published yet.
But there's going to be 5 books in this series at least before all is said and done.
Prepare your applause hands, guys.
Oh,
more pictures. So many pictures in these books as well.
These books are about Ben Yokoyama, who's a boy who in the beginning of every book gets a new cookie fortune, and he takes it very seriously.
So seriously?
So in the Cookie of Doom, he gets live each day as if it were your last, and he takes it so seriously that he thinks that it's his last day, and he has to accomplish all the things he's never accomplished.
Makes a little bucket list
in one day.
Tries to check things off.
In the Cookie of Endless Waiting, good things come to those who wait is the fortune. Ben decides to stop doing his chores, his homework. He just waits for things to happen.
That's a terrible idea.
It doesn't go well.
Nope,
all right.
Nope.
So anyway, these are other books that we've made.
Wait, just a little also exciting little behind the scenes.
Oh.
These are actually we're talking with
we're working with a producer
in Hollywood
to pitch a TV series based on these books.
That's kind of exciting.
So that's another thing we're doing right now. The next book that comes out after that is Sunrise Summer. Guys, if you marry Robbi,
this one's close to my heart.
If you marry Robbi, you have to go to Alaska every summer, dress head to toe in rubber pants, and jump into the Bering Sea and pull sockeye salmon out with your bare hands.
The moral of this story is
don't marry Robbi. But you can make books with Robbi. So this is a book about our family's summer adventures in Alaska. And this is our next book that's coming out. And this is kind of a nice segue.
This one's coming out when?
This is coming out in April.
April.
Guys, this is not a hardcover book. This is just pieces of paper stapled together.
The final version of this, if you look here, if you want to know something about publishing, this says Advanced Reader's Edition.
Yeah.
This is a copy they send out to librarians ahead of time so that people know what book they're going to order for their library.
But it takes a little bit of the mystery out of it, right, guys? This is just a big piece of paper folded in half.
Yeah.
So before Robbi and I made hardcover books with publishing companies, we made a lot of books by ourselves.
Yes.
Just because we wanted to. So we said at the beginning, you're an author if you say you're an author. You're an illustrator if you say you're an illustrator.
Move this giant pile of books now.
Look, you guys, here's a book. Remember Babies Ruin Everything? No, show them that again.
This one.
This book that we published, look, here's a self-published book that's just pieces of paper that we cut to a smaller size and we sort of mash together.
Fancy little binding machine.
With the machine that we got at Staples.
Mhm.
All right. So if you guys want to, you can make books like this because you can get that machine for not very much money at Staples. Here's some pieces of paper that we just stapled together and wrapped a piece of duct tape around to make it look like it had a binding. But guys, there's no mystery here.
It's a fake.
You can do this yourself. And the most sort of bare and basic example. Here's our first book, Facial Features of French Explorers.
That's cursive, you guys.
It's a very strange book. It's imaginary biographies of real people. And no, it's very strange. You don't have to like this book.
I love this book.
But you have to admit, it's just a piece of paper folded in half with a piece of cardstock on it.
And then, and then stapled together down the middle, right? If you see that, that's just staples on folded piece of paper. And that turns into a book.
All of you guys have stories inside of you. Yeah. All of you guys can draw pictures. All right. You can make a book this afternoon if you want to. And the point is, actually, you're going to make a book right now. Get some paper. Get your two pieces of paper. 2 pieces of
white paper.
Get your stapler. Get your fortitude. Get your excitement. We're going to switch camera angles on you. So sit down. Don't get dizzy.
Yes.
Robbie's going to move.
I'm going to try to do something fancy.
All right. Here we go. Oh,
there we go.
There we go. All right.
So we have our 2 pieces of paper. This is all you need, guys.
This is not mysterious, you guys.
So for anybody who didn't have their pieces of paper at the ready,
all right.
This is not complicated. You guys can remember how to do this. Fold your paper in half. Dun, 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 dun.
Okay, that was not hard.
Now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-page book.
Well, you have a 6-page book.
6-page book with a cover and a back cover.
Okay,
all right?
So if those pages could fall apart, if you have a stapler, we're going to show you something very exciting now.
Fancy.
This is our long neck stapler, you guys.
A long neck stapler.
All right.
Because it's got a long neck.
You can get that, you can staple things.
There's our little tiny stapler.
Yeah. Again, you can get that at Office Depot. You can get that online for not very much money.
Right. And I like to staple on the folded side.
Yeah.
Because then you don't have the ugly inside of the staples sticking out.
Boom.
Right? Boom. Boom.
Look at that.
Now,
you guys,
we have a book.
That's a book. There's nothing complicated there. No. That's exactly the same kind of book as Facial Features of French Explorers.
Yes.
Okay.
But hey, let me tell you a trick.
All right.
If you happen to have, which I'm sure most of you do, a piece of what is this called?
It is called construction paper.
Construction paper lying around.
Yes.
This can be the cover for your book, right? You just have to put it at the bottom of your pile of paper when you fold it over.
And you know what? Show them the other stapling technique for putting on the cover. Because you probably don't have a long neck stapler.
You guys might not have a long neck stapler, although I must say.
We don't judge you for that.
It's just, I might have so much trouble folding.
Well, Robbi.
There we go.
If only you'd gone to a better college. All right, let's see.
Yes. So you put the cover on the bottom of the stack of paper and then you fold it. And then this is another way that you can just make
If you just have a regular stapler,
just
make a really gentle little staple there.
Staple it.
Oh, did I give you a bad stapler?
Really close to the binding there, to the edge, right? And then this is where, if you have a piece of tape, you can cover up those staples.
That's right.
And make it look like it has binding tape on
you
it,
could
right?
put electric tape on there, duct tape, any kind of tape you wanted to. But look, you guys, it's a book.
It's a book.
It's not so easy to make a book. But hey, Robbi, it's blank.
It is
blank. I mean, here's the trick. Can we see our lovely faces again?
Well, I can.
Or guys, I injured my forehead yesterday. I apologize that you have to look at my garish wound on my forehead. But so you have to figure out what to put in a book. Making the book is only part of the battle. But here's the thing, you guys. Part of being a human being is that you have stories inside of you. You have experiences inside of you. People say, where do your ideas come from? The idea to this book came from having babies. That's how I discovered that they ruin everything. We have 4 babies, you guys. It's a wonder we're still
ruined everything.
alive. They're in the other room. They've been told to stay in the other room.
If they come in here, you'll see what they ruin.
We have a new puppy also. So things could get funky in here in a little bit. In any case, you guys, you have a blank book. What do you do? What do? You look around the world.
Try to get some ideas for your book, right?
We made a whole book about this. We made a whole book about how to become an author and an illustrator. It's called Everywhere Wonder. It's about this boy who spends the first half of the book exploring the world in his imagination by reading, by looking on the internet, by experiencing the far distant places he can't go to because he's just a kid in America, and he's not very close to Egypt. You could go to the Grand Canyon.
You could go to the Grand Canyon.
Maybe
some of you have been to the Grand Canyon.
But if you haven't, books and the internet and movies, this is a Zen garden in Japan, for example. That's a place I went with Robbi.
I was trying to get to, well, there's the water in Alaska. This is one of my favorite pictures. But
hey, if Lena and
Lena and
if Josh's kids are on here, that's Josh's boat. Josh Pearson.
Josh Pearson's boat is right there. Class of 96?
99.
99. Yeah. Sorry, backwards.
Right. We anyway. Backwards. In any case, you guys, this is a book about exploring the world.
Yes.
All the books that I've written are based on my experiences, or they're imagined based on my experiences. So you already have a lot of content. You have a lot of good ideas inside of you already. So if you did the download of the My Book of Wonder, okay, this was one of the things that was available in advance. You already know probably at this point, you guys, that this is a book that you can make using the same technique that we used before. So Robbi, do you just want to show them real quick?
I do just want to show you real quick.
Just in the air?
Basically, you have, if you printed this out, some people have printers that will print on both sides of the page, right? So in that case, you have 4 pages back to back, so you only have 2 pieces of paper. And again, this super easy to make this book. Just fold it in half and do the crease.
So we won't spend the time stapling it now. You know how that works.
There you are. Now you have your book.
This book is a story generator of sorts. So Robbi, can you open it up?
I just want to also point out, for people who don't have printers that print back to back, your book will print out page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4. And what you have to do is you have to take page 1 and put it back to back with page 2. And then take page 3 and put it back to back with page 4. Okay. And then you have to fold it together, and you'll have some extra pages. You'll have some extra pages inside of there.
But you'll have the important ones in the right order. Okay. So inside of this book, for those of you who do have it and don't have it, there's a series of prompts, and a prompt is just a little push in the direction of creativity. So the most incredible thing I've ever seen in a book or a movie is
blank.
And then there's a blank space. So this is where you consult your experience. You say, I've seen lots of movies. I've watched lots of books. What's the most incredible thing I've ever seen? For me, it's the places where the guys' faces melt off in, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Very traumatizing to me. Any of my contemporaries probably remember this. Don't let your children watch it. But I would draw a picture of that here. Robbi, do you want to show something that Kato did?
Well, look. Oh, here's what happened. Somebody else was traumatized by this. Gosh. I'm gonna go back to our book here. This is our son Kato's.
And he wrote someone's face melting off. Oh man!
Apparently, we let him watch Raiders of the Lost Ark.
We should have done a warning at the beginning of this program. Okay, so next page. The most beautiful thing I've ever seen with my own eyes is, and what do we have here?
Oh, the water in Alaska.
So every summer, our kids go to Alaska
with sort of a shadow of somebody's face melting off from the previous page.
That's horrifying. So it depends what kind of paper you print this on. Whether or not your drawings will bleed through. All right, so, and then the next one day I saw a blank that someone else had thrown away, but I think is beautiful and interesting. And
what did he write? He found a guitar that somebody threw away.
So you guys, the point here is that your life is full of experiences that you can use to write about.
And I do want to show you on the back page, we have sort of a, what is that called?
It's called a bio.
No, well, it's a bio.
A self-portrait, a Mad Libs.
A Mad Libs at the bottom, where you can write sort of a bio about yourself and have an about the author page, right? That's actually one of my favorite parts of books, is the about the author page, I guess because I'm an egomaniac. But there you go.
So this is a place to start. Oh, they can't see me.
I'm gonna bring you back.
You're gonna bring me back.
Oops. That's not what I wanted to do.
Oh man, Robbi. There's a lot of buttons over here, you guys.
That's such a tiny little.
We had a name. We did a show once, and the name for that was Monkey Buttons. Now we're not widescreen. I don't know.
Calm down. You just keep talking. Pretend this isn't
so
happening.
You guys, this is a place to start. If you fill this out with your responses and draw pictures, you are an author and you are an illustrator.
And you have an actual book.
Sometimes you have to confront the terror of the blank page. Each of you just made a book, or should have just made a book. Now we have blank pages. So here's a homework assignment. Anyone who wants to be a writer or an illustrator or both.
We just told you already were. So
right. Anyone who wants to prove it to themselves and walk up to somebody and say, I'm an author or an illustrator and show their book. All you have to do, guys, I would recommend taking 3 pieces of paper and making a slightly longer book. And then you have a journal for a week of your life's experience.
Yes.
Okay. On this page, you can write Monday at the top. You can write something that you thought or dreamed or observed or experienced on Monday.
It's a big piece of paper.
All right, but I'm trying to keep it simple.
All right, all right.
If you want to just keep it simple, one thing. I ate a really great sandwich today. I often have very emotional reactions to great sandwiches. I would write that down. I would draw a picture of the great sandwich here.
We miss Papa Charlie's.
And then I would have a record of my Monday. I could describe the sandwich if I wanted to flex my writer chops. I could talk about how the sandwich made me feel. What?
I just want to interrupt for a second.
Sure.
Katya asked where we can get these downloadables. I am going to, good. Alumni Relations is on it. But at the end of this chat, I'm going to put all of the links to all of the different things that we're doing.
We're also going to
send you an email.
Yeah, we're going to give you a way to get on our mailing list, and then we can just send it all in one email, and you don't have to worry about downloading things now. So anyway, every day in this book is a different day of the week. You can make a different book every week, and then you can have a week-by-week record of your development as an author and an illustrator.
I'm going to show you something that I made. So this is my task book for September of 2017.
Nice.
This was just, my cover is just a postcard that I cut out.
Right.
So this is an old postcard. And then I think there's some swear words on that page.
Oh, okay. We don't want that.
There we go.
It's a child-friendly program.
I have like some things that I was supposed to do. Then I have a little space for a doodle, any notes that I had for that day. So I had that for months. And the nice thing is this fits in my pocket. So I can just carry it around. And if I think of anything, I can just draw it in there. If I see something cool, I can draw a picture of it. This was when I was working on the pages of the real McCoys. I had to do that many pages every day. That's how I kept track.
There's a recurring theme of how hard Robbi worked on the real McCoys. I hear a lot about that, you guys. All right.
Thanks, everyone.
She sits in here drawing and drawing and drawing and drawing. Okay. So you have learned how to make a book. You've learned how to start thinking about generating content for your book. Nonfiction, your own experience, writing from your own experience is about half of the books that are made. Lots of people write about their own experience or things that actually happen in the world. But maybe you want to write up stories. Maybe you want to make up stories. So next, we're going to show you how to make a book.
A little booklet.
Out of one piece of paper.
Yeah.
So now you need one piece of paper and a pair of scissors. This is a little trickier. So if you are on the younger side of our viewing audience and you think you might want some help, recruit a friendly adult.
We're leveling up. This is level 2 bookmaking.
All right, we're gonna take it up a notch here. But this is exciting, you guys, because you can make with one piece of paper and a pair of scissors or just a careful tear a book on the fly. Whenever you need a book, you can make one from now on. So don't get sad, but we're gonna go away for a second.
Go away again.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so we're back here.
All right.
I'm gonna give that to you, Matthew. So we have our one piece of paper. So this is how we are going to make our book. So it's not very complicated.
Well,
the first thing you do.
If you find it complicated, don't feel bad about yourself.
Well,
yes,
that's true.
yes,
That's true.
yes.
Why are there
it's
so
complicated
many
to me.
Shadows.
It's all right. People can see.
I'm gonna try that.
Ooh.
Is that better?
You know.
Okay. So fold the book in half.
Yeah.
I mean, fold the paper in half, just like we did for the other book.
Right.
Okay. This one is kind of important to have your edges really
crisp.
Really crisp.
And to line your corners up really well.
Like you're doing origami, okay? You don't want it to be too far off because then your book doesn't fold nicely.
And hey, you guys, if you have trouble following this, we're going to give you a diagram, step-by-step illustrated diagram to do this later. So don't get worried if you can't figure it out now.
Okay.
Okay.
So then we're going to fold it in half.
Taco style.
Hot dog style.
Hot dog style.
As the kids say.
That's right.
But guess what? We're going to fold it hamburger style in a second.
Okay.
It's good to like really sharply do your edges here.
Okay. So you fold it in half once and fold it in half again.
Fold it in half again.
Yeah.
Then you unfold it and you fold it in half this way. Hamburger style, as the kids say. All right.
I'm going to answer a question in the text while you're talking, Robbi.
Okay. There we go. So not complicated. You're basically folding it in half and then in half again, right? And then in half again the other direction. So now we have one side that is open and one side that is the fold, right? So what we're actually going to do is along this line that goes to the center, we're going to get our scissors out. Along the side that is folded, guys, don't do it on the side that is open, okay? Along the side that is folded, we're going to cut along this line just up to the center fold, okay? So try to cut super carefully on that line because that will also help make this a successful book. Okay, now's where the magic happens and it gets a little bit tricky. So what I do is I do this. I have these two flaps sticking up and then I open the bottom. So it's sort of sitting like this. Can you guys do that? Okay.
All right.
It's a little tricky. You basically have the paper, and then you fold it like that. You scooch it those two sides together. Now you're gonna do like this.
You have to make that sound or it doesn't work. All right.
And then look, you fold it all together.
Oh my gosh, it's a book.
And it's a little book.
What?
Now.
One piece of paper, you guys. One piece of paper, some ninja folding.
Yes.
You can do this.
I did not do an excellent job with mine.
Robbi, I believe in you anyway.
Thanks, man.
Once
if you're
again,
a little bit careful.
If you had been paying attention in English class in 1995, Robbi and I had a couple of classes together, you guys. We met at Williams and we were English majors together.
Oh, boy.
I sat in the front row and waved my hand excitedly so that the professor could see how interested I was. And Robbi sat in the back row scowling with her arms folded. It's a wonder that we're such good friends today.
Okay, so we've got a cover.
Yes.
And then we've got page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
Back cover. Okay, so you have a 6-page book out of one piece of paper.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, right?
Okay, so once again, can we see ourselves again? We have a blank book. We need to know what to do with it. So the first exercise that we outlined for you guys, looking around the world, asking yourself questions. What are the beautiful, interesting things all around me that I want to write about and draw about? What if you want to make up a story? There are so many different types of stories in the world, but there are a couple very important aspects of an exciting story to keep in mind. And the most important thing is, for a story to be successful, something has to happen that's bad. All right. There has to be some kind of conflict. There has to be something.
It doesn't have to be bad. It has to be a conflict.
Thank you. Okay. It has to be a conflict. Conflicts are often bad, but they're not always bad. You need to have somebody who wants something or to accomplish something or wants to stop somebody else from doing something. And they have to have somebody that's trying to either stop them or block them from doing that thing. It's sort of a very basic ingredient of most stories. When you think about it, if you have, well, here, we're going to give you a very simple formula for making a 6-page book that will have a main character, an antagonist, sort of the bad guy or the person that's trying to stop the main character, a conflict, and a resolution, right? When you read a story, you want there to be a challenge, and you want at the end, generally speaking, for the challenge to be resolved. Or at least this is one way to think about writing a story. So we're going to give you the very simple formula, which is that on page 1 of our book.
Hold on. I was just going to show you.
Can we do it here first? Yeah. So here's the cover of your book. Interestingly, you don't put a title on your book until the book is done, because you really need to know what the book is all the way about before you give it a title. Lots of people want to start with the title and the illustration, but don't wait till the very end, you guys.
Don't start with the title.
On page 1, who is your main character? Who is your hero? All right. Who is the person or the group of people that this book is about? On page 2, what is it that that person or group of people wants to accomplish or achieve? All right. So we have the hero and we have the goal. Are these backwards?
I don't know. All right. Are they correct for you guys? Are they backwards
for
you?
On page, no, they're good. On page 3, who or what is trying to stop the hero or the group of people from achieving the goal? All right. Is it the bad guy? Is it the government? Is it some sort of obstacle, some sort of inner obstacle like hubris? You know, who knows what it is, but something needs to be blocking the hero's attempt to accomplish something. On page 4, we're going to have a little progress. The hero is going to get closer to the goal.
You can't lose hope. You have to lift them up.
Something good is going to happen, right? To make us think, oh, the hero is going to succeed. On page 5, we're going to have a setback. Oh, something is going to happen to knock the hero off his or her or their course and make us wonder, oh no, this is called the darkness before the dawn. This is the part of the story where we wait and white-knuckled worry. Is the story going to end up well? And then the last beat, resolution. Okay,
Yay.
Things do turn out well overall.
Thank goodness.
Let me help you think through this with a story that you know really well. Think of Star Wars, okay? On the, so the title of our book is Star Wars.
Well,
right?
We're not gonna name it yet.
Well, but I already know how the story goes. So the hero, Luke Skywalker, young Jedi, wants to squash the Galactic Rebellion, right? No, the Empire. Oh, I've forgotten. The goal, the hero, Luke Skywalker, wants to get rid of the bad guys, the Empire. The obstacle, Darth Vader. There's all sorts of complex family issues that evolve at a certain point, but Darth Vader. The progress, at the end of the first Star Wars movie, from when we were kids, blows up the Death Star. Woohoo! Everything seems great, but no. They build a darn whole new Death Star, and it's stronger and worse than before. Do we give up? We don't give up. We keep going and we blow up the Death Star again. All right. So that's sort of the way this story cycle works when you think about it, you guys. If you think about the Avengers want to keep the universe safe. That's their goal. Thanos, oh no, he wants all the Infinity Stones. He wants to ruin everything. They make some progress. They stop him. They get the Infinity Stones from him. Oh no, he turns back time, gets them, and ruins half of the universe. But no, they turn back time and ruin his attempts. So you guys, this
now do Love in the Time of Cholera.
I'm not going to do any more. I think they get the point. But what we want to do right now, you guys, is that we are going to make a book with you.
Yes.
This could go very badly. I want you guys to help me and participate. Robbi is going to illustrate a book.
Share my screen here
while you write the book. So I need everyone to get in the chat and give us first of all, who's the hero of this book? I need you guys to tell me who's the hero going to be. Throw your answers into the chat. Don't make me write this book by myself. I'm not that good of an author, you guys. I need your input. Oh, we have 3 new messages. Can you click on?
Oops.
How do we get them to
scroll? No, I'm going to. I just pushed the wrong button here. Sorry.
Oh, we have so many ideas.
Gosh, you guys,
okay.
Many...
Oh, thanks for participating. Oh, a cat, my sheep, a hamster named Sally. A hamster named Sally. Ephraim Williams. Should we keep it Williams themed?
Okay.
Or do you want it to be a hamster named Sally?
Yes. No, we can do Ephraim
All right,
Williams.
Ephraim Williams. Okay, so guys, the next page of the book, what is his objective?
Okay.
What is Ephraim Williams' objective? What is he trying to accomplish? What is this story about? What does he want to do or achieve or be? Kill? No, we don't want. Oh, let's see. Summit Mount Greylock. Okay. He wants to summit Mount Greylock on Mountain Day. How about that? Can we do that? All right. He wants to climb.
I have no idea what Ephraim Williams looks like.
Reclaim the library from Amherst. That seems even better. Should we take our books back from Amherst? We have several voting for that. So, all right. So he wants to take our books back from Amherst. All right. So what's our obstacle? I mean, is there a specific obstacle, you guys? What is stopping him from getting the books back from Amherst? What is standing in his way? A dinosaur, a mammoth. Lord Jeth himself. We have lots of mammoths because that's their new mascot. So can we have a mammoth keeping our hero Ephraim Williams from getting back the books?
Okay, gosh, you guys, making me draw a mammoth.
You can do it. We believe in you. All right. What is the progress that Ephraim Williams makes in his quest to get back the books from Amherst? Can anyone tell us? What is the slight hope that we see when he defeats the mammoth? Well, is that a little bit? Oh, the hairpin turn is blocked by snow. That we will save that for beat 5. All right. He finds the bus schedule to Amherst. The mammoth is kind of the mammoth is kind of nice. Convinces he has rugby skills, so he runs through the mammoth legs. You guys are amazing. Let's see. He reads to the mammoth. He finds a wheelbarrow. The mammoth wants to learn to read. Oh. The mammoth. What do you think, Robbi? What do you feel?
I had the rugby thing going, but that's okay.
No, we need progress. Goes over here. Yeah.
Wait. Well, so what's the progress?
The progress is.
I'm gonna look. He's gonna run through his legs.
I think. Oh, good. Going from spread to spread there. I like that. So Robbi, I think the progress is the mammoth wants to go to Williams.
Oh.
Yes. The mammoth wants to go to Williams. So he's working a little side hustle. He's like, all right, I'm going to work my connections in the admission office to get you in. If you give me back the books in the library. So we're feeling progress. All right, you guys, wait. He's
what's happening? He's debating with the
mammoth wants to go to, let's go on to the next one. We can develop the progress.
All right, you guys, I got sidetracked.
That's all right.
It's hard to illustrate sort of on the fly.
So the mammoth wants to go to Williams. And so Ephraim is going to work his magic to get, look at that. That's all right. So you guys, what is the setback? What is it now that stops him from succeeding, even though the mammoth is trying to bribe him? He feels offended by the cow. Oh,
he can't read.
The mammoth is offended by the cow. So the mammoth shows up and is like, no way. I am not going to give these books back to a college that is run by a cow. All right.
Okay.
So we have the mammoth being really snooty about the cow. I think that's what's happening here. Can you show an offended mammoth? Oh, look at that. How could you not love that cow? I think this mammoth is extremely close-minded. It's what I'd expect from a mammoth in the middle of Massachusetts. All right, here we go. All right. Resolution, you guys. What do we do now to make this story end well? How are we going to get the books back in spite of the mammoth and the cow fall in love? Maybe after a little bit of misunderstanding, the mammoth and the cow fall in love. We co-opt Amherst's mascot forever. Not only do we get our books back, but we leave them heartbroken. This story. This is. I mean, you guys have written a true epic for our time. I love it.
Oh, look, they're going to be reading a book together.
I'm going to give a little shout out to El Puppy. I see you out there, El Puppy, old friend. All right. So, okay. So you guys, we just wrote a story together by following this very simple structure. You start with a hero. You move on to what that hero is trying to accomplish. In our case, we had Ephraim Williams trying to get the books back from the library, a very noble quest. He is thwarted by the mammoth that is blocking his way when he gets to the Amherst campus. All right. Oh, can this be published somewhere so we can fold and print it ourselves? Yes, we will send this out. So anybody that wants to get stuff that we make during this show, go to our website and join our mailing list. And then we'll have your email address and we can send it out to you. So Robbi,
we'll put that link.
Robbi will put that. Actually, could someone, one of our friends do that? Our website is Robbi and Matthew.com/contact is how you put it into right now. Yes. Yes. I love the idea that you will be able to.
I mean, I'm a little bit.
What?
Can I fix these illustrations?
Yeah, I think Robbi can brush them up a little bit.
Can you let me do it a little bit better?
Maybe I should write a little narrative. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We might create a little takeaway for you guys. Anyway. Yeah.
Wait, but then
what?
On the back cover.
Right. On the back cover, we are going to put a frame, right? So that we can, but that's where you would put the shot of all of the author and illustrator.
Right. And
this was illustrated by so many people. Anyway, when you write a book, make sure to tell your readers who you are and your exciting history. Now, who are you drawing there?
Various people who are on this chat.
I see. Is this just sort of I see. You're covering all the bases. Like the Society of Alumni, you are a very inclusive person,
That's
Robbi.
right.
You have your arms open to all. We welcomed all into writing this book. We wrote it together for the next, at the advent of the next 100 years of the Society of Alumni.
Yes.
All right. Okay, good. So front cover, what do we call this book? What is the title of this book, you guys?
This is the hardest part.
This is the hardest part.
And in actual
publishing, guys, oh my gosh, this is hard.
We actually do save this part for last.
I have never successfully written my own title of a book.
Tell them what you were going to name the Real Mccoys.
So the Real Mccoys originally was called Maggie and Herman, right? It was but then I came up with a better idea, which was the Mostly Defective Detective Collective.
Ooh, which is a terrible name. Ask any librarian and they'll be like, never. Don't ever make a child.
The Story of Love, Mammoth Love, Luke's suggestion, Books Back from Amherst, A Purple Tail.
A Purple Tail. That's a good one. That's a pun.
Oh, A Purple Tail. T-A-L. I like that. Becoming a Purple Cow Mammoth. You guys are deep. A Mammoth in the Purple Valley. I wish I could give this book so many different names because these are all wonderful. Mammoth and Moo. Ephraim Williams and the Mammoth Tail. You guys are great. I love this. But you're going to do A Purple Tail?
I'm doing A Purple Tail.
Okay. If Robbi didn't pick your title, it's just because she can't read them all. And this is so great. All right, you guys, thank you. I did not know if that was going to work, and that worked beautifully.
And guess what?
What?
Next time you do this, you don't need us to do it.
No.
I do want to show you. I do want to point out, though, on this thing.
Yeah.
You will notice that when you have the piece of paper, actually, I'll switch it back to our
faces,
to our unscreen share.
Yeah. How do we get back there?
Gotta just do it over here.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I show them real quick this? I want to show, this is going to get a little dizzy making, but look what Robbi drew this on. This is a super tablet Wacom thing that is, here, move it up and down. It's mounted on an arm.
Don't think that you need one of these to be an illustrator.
I know, but I think it's so cool.
Yeah.
So that's what was just drawn on. Anyway.
Hide all the garbage
underneath. Robbi did not want me to do that. I won't do it again.
I don't like when
I often get scolded for doing things spontaneously.
I don't like when the camera goes all over the place and everybody gets motion sick.
I apologize.
Okay, so my point was,
yes,
when you have your little folded book together, right?
Yeah.
You've got title, page, hero, goal. Where did our original? This one you can read better. Yeah. Okay, right? But when you open it up, sometimes it's hard to draw on a little tiny piece of paper like that, and it's easier to do it when it's opened up. But when you open it up, you'll notice that it actually is half upside down and half right side up. Okay, so if you're just gonna make the piece of paper first and like print it out or make copies of it, you have to remember that it's you can't do all right side up pictures, right? Because then when you actually draw the thing,
we are going to actually create a template for this because we like this idea. Yeah. And so if you sign up, if you send us your email address, we will send the template.
We'll send a template, and it won't have giant writing.
It'll just have little reminders.
It'll just have little reminders of what happens.
Just until you learn how to do it yourself.
And then it's super easy to do.
Okay.
Right?
So you guys, you have the tools that you need to make books. The downloadable that we had for this is a little scavenger hunt. Now that you've learned how to do it, here's a 1-page scavenger hunt that has a title. All right. It has a title. It has an author bio, and it has on every page little things to look for. And this is another thing that can help you get content for your own books, you guys. So what are some of the categories?
So this is also quarantine appropriate. So we have locations to find things on your scavenger hunt. In my room, at home, on a TV show, outside my window, in a book, in the bathroom.
So this is hours of fun, or at least minutes of fun some afternoon. Make this book, do a scavenger hunt, check each item off, but just know that it's the same approach. We're going to show you the most, I think, interesting thing that we've ever made in this format. This was a commission for a magazine. They asked us to come up with stories that would read one way when they were flat like this, but that had interactive qualities. So I'm going to show you.
You know what? I'm going to show them on the camera because it actually is a little bit easier to see.
But I'm going to read this story. Okay. Where does it start? Trying to discover the exact date when hope and happiness left him wistful for the pleasures of youth, old Richard made a time machine. And then the other one, eager to wed the wealthy widow, little Dickie donned a bald wig bent on fooling everyone he knew by pretending to be someone else. I think I started in the wrong place.
It doesn't matter where you start. These are also downloadables that we'll send you guys links to. But basically, the idea is it's the same format as the books, right? So you can read it as, you can kind of, there we go. You can read it as a book. And because it is
it was written so you can start anywhere.
You can start anywhere, right? And so that, and then it has little funky pictures. But the fun thing is you can also recombine it in lots of different ways. So if you have it like this, you can read around the circle.
And the illustrations still line up.
Illustrations match up. So here, this is a person, I don't know, a 6-armed, these are the Venus people. And so she's looking through a telescope. But when you flip this side, her head turns into a rocket. Down here, this is the some cheerful eating meatballs, right? That's a fork. But when you switch it, oh my gosh, it's the axe through arm of an alien. So you can flip it this way. You can also fold it this way, where the inside folds down. And so you've got a whole new.
The point here, you guys, is this format you can do so much cool stuff with. Can I show them this real quick? Because this was.
So there you go. There's lots of different ways to fold it. It's super fun to play around with. Okay.
We're showing you very basic. Can you get us back to?
Yes.
We're showing you very basic ways to fold paper to make books, but there's so many cool things you can do. This is a book that we made early on that we self-published called 10,000 Stories. This was an idea Robbi had based on books we had when we were little, where there was a head, a body, and legs that recombined by flipping panels. And we just made it a little more complicated. So we have these 4 panels, and there's 10 stories in this book. But as you flip the panels, you can make 10,000 different combinations of the pictures and the words.
Now,
so, yes,
for the record, 10,000 Stories is available as a hardcover, but it is not really for kids. I mean, it's not, nothing bad happens, but there's some untoward things. So if you are.
But it was published as a hardcover book by Chronicle Books.
For adults,
This was actually our very first commercial book, right? So I think that's the end of our regularly scheduled comments.
We got through a lot of stuff.
But guys, we could not pay attention to the chat. So if you ask brilliant, thought-provoking, moving, emotionally wrenching questions already.
Or just regular questions. Like, what did you guys have for breakfast?
I will tell you that I had, but nobody's asked that yet.
Nobody's asked. I'm not going to.
But here,
raise your hand.
I have to say something.
Oh, yes.
Which is that the Society of Alumni is recording this for posterity and for the Library of Congress and to put in a moon capsule. If you raise your hand and we call on you and we hear your voice will be recorded for all time. Okay. There's nothing, and it may be seen again by people in replay. So don't speak. If your parents don't want your voice to be heard.
For you,
all right.
I would recommend keeping.
Don't give us your social security number unless you want us to embezzle your funds. Okay. But we're going to actually have people raise their hands, right?
Well, raise your hands in the, the sidebar thing.
Like there's a
function to raise your hand.
Are there questions here that we should
I already see one. What entries were you in?
Oh.
I started out in Sage B. As a freshman, and then I was a JA in Morgan East.
I'm going to get some flack for this, but I, on my Williams College tour, visited Lehman East, and the sample room they showed on the tour, I liked so much. I requested it, and I got that room. I was like, I want to relive my tour experience every day. So Lehman East, we were a quiet, contemplative, studious bunch, right next to the library. And then I was a JA in East 2.
Somebody fell out of the window during a snowstorm in my entry, so we were not a
Can I give a shout out to Johnny Mahoney, one of my frosh from my JA year, who I know is on this chat. Thank you, John.
Oh, look, and there's Emily Peenback from my JA year.
All right. So what other questions? Somebody thoughts about musical?
Let's see. Where did I get my drawing tablet? My drawing tablet, I'm sorry to say, is super duper duper expensive. Now
that's a relative term.
I would think anybody would think it's expensive. So it is a Wacom Intuos tablet. And it actually, the nice thing about it is that you draw on it and you see what you draw on it. However, if you have an iPad, it does the same thing. It really is pretty comparable, except that an iPad is a little bit smaller to deal with. But because I do so much work, and I think that was from Maven Maris, right? Probably. Yes.
It's large and it's movable. That arm, it means that Robbi doesn't have to because she spends hours and hours and hours.
I actually injured my shoulder from hunching
She had to go to an orthopedic doctor.
I got a shot and everything. It was ridiculous.
Illustration is very dangerous in your elderly
Who
years.
Knew?
Yes.
All right. Can you incorporate acapella into your books? No, Ben Warner. No, I refuse.
May I please take a moment? I was a Spring Streeter, and that was a fellow Spring Streeter asking me an acapella reference. I will not right now because Robbi had friends in each of the different.
Every single acapella group, I had to go to all of the acapella concerts, and I am done with acapella for the rest of my life. I'm sorry.
Ba do do ba ba.
Don't do it.
Young man do do da da. That was.
Euphoria's here.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
All right.
All right. Where will there be a fourth Real McCoy's book?
Oh, you guys, I have written the fourth Real McCoy's book, but for now, there's not one planned. So books are a business.
I would like you all to purchase several thousand copies of book 3 of the Real McCoys, and that will encourage them to publish book 4.
Here's something that you do need to know if you're planning on being an author and illustrator, because when we do school assemblies, people say, are you rich? Guys, we're not rich. No, books are not actually a way that many people make very much money.
In fact, Matthew has a secret job.
I do. I work.
That is not.
I work as a writer and a communications consultant for a firm that designs college recruitment materials. So I wrote.
Matthew started working there because they wrote the materials that recruited us to Williams.
Yeah, so I wrote the Williams College prospectus for a while. That's my other job. Most writers who write books have other jobs too, because writing books doesn't actually pay enough money. But writing books are a business, you guys. So the publishing company, Macmillan, that decided to publish the Real McCoys, bought a 2-book deal, meaning they purchased the first 2 books, the rights to the first 2 books in advance. The first book was very successful, and so they bought a 3rd book in the series, and now they're waiting to see how the series of 3 does as a whole to decide whether or not to do a first book.
Pandemic sort of threw a wrench into a lot of things, so
Cookie
we're
Chronicles.
Still waiting.
Cookie Chronicles, you guys.
Everyone in the chat over there, Jennifer Sleeper 07 also wrote a book, so check out her link.
Cool.
Upside Down House, Other Poems.
50,000 books are published every year.
50,000 titles.
So it's one of the things. Writing a book and creating a book is one of the things that you have to do, but it's also about promotion and publicity. We have to do a lot of talking about our books to try to get people to know about them.
Somebody did ask, how do you promote your content? Ugh, we're so bad at it. You know what?
But here's a few things we do.
Yes, okay.
We do a lot of school visits, meaning we go to elementary schools, we spend a day, we give assemblies, we talk about our books. That's one way that we introduce ourselves to new groups of people. On our social media front, we do a video every day. If you guys like this nonsense, every day on our Facebook or our Instagram or our YouTube, we post a new 60-second video. So there's people who just follow along and watch our video every day.
And we're not always talking about books.
No, we usually aren't.
Most of the time we aren't.
But when we do talk about books, the people who follow us every day learn about our books. So I think one of the secrets to self-promotion is to talk about other people's stuff more often than you talk about yours, right? That's the, we don't do that well, but the people on Twitter who really do Twitter well, they share other people's content and then they talk about theirs every once in a while, right? Isn't that supposed to be?
That is how you're supposed to do it. That's not how we actually do it.
I'm trying to give them advice that's useful.
Don't do it like us, okay?
All right.
All right. My friend Andrew Brown writes a very important question. How many cheese puffs does it take to fill a 10-gallon drum? Andrew, we're working on it, all right? We're trying to figure it out. I have to eat them all one at a time. The 10-gallon drum is not arriving.
Will you hold this for a second? I just want to point out.
This, I just want to explain why I have so many cheese balls. Cheese balls are my snack of choice when I am working.
Look at this, you guys. It's an actual obsession. Look at this. This is a crate of cheese balls. Sometimes she eats the big cheese balls, sometimes the little cheese balls. It's a real problem. I think it's actually a requirement for Robbi as an illustrator to be surrounded by cheese balls at all times.
On a book and I work on deadline. Here's the difference between the way that Matthew and I work. Matthew wrote all of his papers 2 weeks in advance.
At Williams College.
Williams College. And revised them 20 times. This is a horrible noise that it's making in our microphone.
All right. I'll get rid of the cheese ball. But I had to make the point in dramatic fashion. Yeah. So they'd really understand the extent of the problem here.
Yeah. So Matthew always got his papers done 2 weeks in advance. I did mine
like a sensible student would. Yes.
I did mine about 2 hours before they were done. I tried once or several times to do it like a month in advance. I got the same darn grade as I got if I did it 2 hours in advance. So I decided to save myself the agony, and I just concentrated the agony into one day. Unfortunately, that's the way that I still work, which means that I have to eat lots of cheese balls to keep myself awake during the late nights when I'm working, trying to illustrate 200, 300-page books. If Matthew would just write shorter books for me to illustrate.
I write relatively short books in the greater scheme of things. Many novels are 80,000 pages. The longest novel I've ever made you illustrate was 37,000. So you should be grateful instead of spitting this hostility in my direction.
Yes. Okay. Can we get signed copies of your books with personalized Williams messages? Absolutely. You can go to our website, our shop.robbiandmatthew.com. We'll put that in all our information.
They're called barn editions.
Yeah.
And so what we do is we put a fancy silver seal on it, and we have a notary seal, and it has a little etching of art. We live in a barn. If you guys can see the beams up there, we live in an old barn on the eastern shore of Maryland that used to be Robbi's mom's pottery studio. It's at least 150 years old, I think.
We don't know anything about it.
We live upstairs now. So you can get a barn edition that will be dated and signed and personally dedicated. And you can order those through our website.
Yes.
Otherwise, you can get our books anywhere. You can get them on any major online retailer or from your indie bookstore.
All right.
What do you got?
Lucy wants to know, do you draw all of your pictures on the computer or on paper? That's a very good question. So all of the real Mccoy's books I did on the computer, because the computer actually takes out several steps that there's so many illustrations in this, if I haven't mentioned before, there's so many illustrations in this that just erasing stuff and redrawing stuff takes a lot longer. And also putting all of these pictures into the computer, if I drew them on paper and then had to scan them all.
But see how this has a texture?
Yeah.
Robbi also scans, she paints on paper watercolor washes, which is just basically a texture. And then she uses that behind her drawings to give them that very sort of natural, organic feel.
Texture, right?
So it's a combination, right?
Yeah. So that one I did all on the computer. Now, Sunrise Summer.
Oh yeah. Where is it?
Sunrise Summer here.
Okay.
I did partly on the computer. So all of the, if you look, like all of the
characters are drawn.
All the characters are drawn with pen and ink on paper, and they're painted in watercolor. So I do the characters on paper and scan them in. There's something about, I use a quill pen. So dip it in ink and then write on paper. And there's something about the texture and the feel of ink flowing onto paper that I just haven't been able to replicate on the computer. So so I do my characters like that. And then the backgrounds again are, I just paint a big piece of watercolor paper. In this case, I painted it. And then I just, in the computer, I scan it into the computer. And then in the computer, I cut out the white area, right, to make the clouds. And then here I cut out the shape. It's sort of like collage. So I cut out the shape in the computer to make the spaghetti sauce texture here. And then I do the shadows. I do the shadows on the computer. I kind of cheat. That's kind of a cheat, but that's okay. So so this one is all on the computer. I didn't do any drawing.
Because it was just the people, right?
So it's really just, I'm just taking shapes and just collaging all this together with different textures that I have inside the computer. So good question.
All right. What else do we have over here?
We told people to raise their hands, but I haven't seen
Does anybody want to actually have to speak and have your voice be heard across the airwaves here? If you draw on the iPad, is there an illustration app? that you highly recommend?
Yeah, so Procreate.
Oh, we have a question when you're done with this. Okay.
Excellent. So Procreate is an app that sort of most people are starting to use now, and it's gotten a lot. It has a lot of. I use Photoshop just because that's what I've always used, and that's what I use. But most people are using Procreate right now, which is it's super cheap. I mean, when you consider that Photoshop costs hundreds of dollars, it's like $50 a month to subscribe or some craziness. Procreate is like $11.99 or something.
Look, $10. Somebody just Molly said,
it's the best, and it does just as much as Photoshop.
And then when you guys get into high school or college or whichever, oftentimes there are educational discounts or access to Creative Suite. So you can use it in those contexts, learn how to use it, and decide whether you want to subscribe to it or buy it. So we have a question,
okay.
Molly.
Molly, hold on. I'm going to ask you to unmute.
All right, Molly.
Oh, do I have to unmute you?
I don't know.
I have to ask you to unmute.
All right. We formally ask you to unmute, Molly.
Okay, cool.
All right. Hello.
Look, you have a fancy microphone. Nice. I'm jealous of your microphone. Look at that.
Thank you. So I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
So one, how do you stay motivated on a huge project like an entire book? And second, how do you plan for something like this? Do you spend a lot of time brainstorming and coordinating?
Okay. You might have noticed that I eat a lot of cheese balls. That's how I motivate myself. No, deadlines are very motivating for me. That's really my motivation. And unfortunately, I can't fake myself into believing that there's a deadline that happens earlier than the actual deadline. I've tried that before. Matthew keeps trying to do that to me, and I never fall for it. So motivation is hard, but I am somebody, here's the thing. I'm somebody who, when the house is burning down, I'm the person you call. Matthew's the person to call if like the roof is leaking a little bit and it needs to be taken care of. All right. I am great in an emergency, but I'm not, I'm going to leave that thing dripping until the ceiling falls in, and then I'll take care of it. So that's just, it's something that we work very differently. And it's something that I have tried so hard ever since I was born. Everybody has told me that the proper way to work is to do it in advance, to, measure out your time. All of the best practices to wake up early in the morning and get your work done before your day starts. That is unfortunately not how I work. And I have struggled my entire life trying to convince myself that that is the right way to work and that I am doing it the wrong way. That's backwards. I'm doing it the way that I do it because that's the best way for me, right? So if the deadline is what motivates me, then I'm going to let the deadline motivate me. It makes Matthew's life kind of horrible for the last 2 weeks of a book project, but
the results are great. And so in retrospect, it's always worth it.
The build up to the 2 weeks is Matthew being very, very crabby and me being super tired and him being super tired. And then I turn it in and he's like, okay, it was pretty good.
I mean, it's unusual that your collaborative partner, if you work with an illustrator, if you're an author or vice versa, would be your spouse.
That's true. Don't marry the person you collaborate with.
I mean, in some ways it's wonderful because these get to be our projects that we work on together. We get to go present about them together. We get to support each other. When I'm having a bad day, Robbi usually rises up and has a good day and vice versa. So we're able to give each other a lot of support during those times when we're struggling creatively.
Yes.
I do think we motivate each other because it's a shared endeavor and we don't want to let each other down.
Right.
So for me, as a writer, I would say writing has to be its own reward, regardless of whether or not you get a book deal, right? You have to love writing or not, because getting to be a writer who's going to develop to the extent that he or she can write a book that's published, it takes a lot of work and dedication. So you have to enjoy it. You have to really like it. I am motivated to become the best writer I can. Even though I have published some books and have enjoyed some success as a writer, I know I am not done getting better at it. So I am motivated by continuing. There's a set of books. There's a fantasy series that I started writing 10 years ago that I refuse to finish because I'm not a good enough writer yet. So I will finish those books and publish those books when I am a good enough writer to put the books into the world in the shape that I want. So I'm motivated by the fact.
A rather self-motivated person. That's just how he is. Thank goodness I'm here to slow him down. Otherwise, he'd have like 50 books published already. We do have 50 books published. We've done that. No, but there was a second part to your question.
I don't remember it.
I don't either.
Oh, I'm sorry. If you're still there, you can ask it again. Oh, no, I think that was it. How do you stay motivated working on a big project? All right. Like other questions. Who would like to raise hands? And come on, people. What can we tell you? We want to tell you things.
Yes, my niece, who was a last-minute Lucy, became a trauma surgeon. See, maybe I should be a trauma surgeon.
I think that's a terrible idea. Terrible.
I would be so bad.
Why don't you scroll up and see if there's any more? If anybody had a question that you asked
there's 2
earlier.
hands. Oh, here we go.
Oh, okay.
Jennifer Sleeper.
Okay, let's hear you.
To unmute.
Okay.
Hey guys, thanks so much for giving this talk. So I'm kind of new to this. I've just launched a webcomic on Instagram.
Cool.
And I have like all the content ready to go. I'm just kind of publishing as I go, but I'm having a lot of trouble figuring out how to get an online presence. And I know you guys talked about your videos and how that helps a lot, but do you have any other advice for like just getting more notice on Instagram and social media?
Okay, so the way that Instagram and social media work is that they want you to be, in order for you to be successful, they want you to be on there all the time. You have to spend tons of time feeding your content, right? And your content has to be consistent. They don't want, people are not going to stick with following you if you post something every day for 4 days and then you miss 4 days. They're going to be like, if you start out saying, I'm going to post something once a week, then that's the expectation and they expect you to stick with it. If you start saying, I'm going to do it every day, and then after you do it every day for 2 weeks, you take a few days off, then they're disappointed, right? So part of the thing is just figure out a consistent plan of what you're doing. The second part is you have to sort of become an expert in whatever field it is that you are trying to raise your followers in, right? So if you're doing, you said you're doing webcomics, is that what you said? Yeah, okay, so if you're doing webcomics, you start by following all of the webcomic people that you know. You start commenting on all of their posts, and occasionally you will mention a webcomic that you do. Follow all the people that follow them, and engage them in conversation, right? And don't have it be you asking them for stuff or you promoting your own stuff all the time. You have to be somebody who people start wondering, oh, I wonder what Jennifer is, I wonder what they think about this, right? So
another thing that you can do that's very helpful, but is a cost, is to advertise your webcomic on other webcomics websites. That is really where the people who are webcomic consumers will go, where they will see and they will go. If you can try to also get your webcomic in front of people who are influencers in the space, whether they are bloggers, whether they are people who are just big sort of connectors or fans of webcomics, it's being a little assertive. One of the things that Robbi and I did when we were self-publishing was freely giving our content away to people whenever we met them. And with you, your content is already sort of a free thing, right? So it's getting it generously into the hands of people who can talk about it, who can promote it, who can share it. That is the real trick, is to make connections in that world and get people want to support and promote you.
Now, another suggestion, since web comics are on the web, but there are whole communities of comic and zine artists, and I don't know where you're located, but on both of the coasts there, and I think Chicago, there's lots of small press expos, right?
Almost every major city
now has them, and basically you have a table that you set up and you put out your comics and sell them for $1 or $5 a piece or whatever, and tons of people go to those, and that's how you start getting to know people in the industry. And that's really how we started out.
So if you can make some prints of your, or put together some zine versions of them, you can go to these, you can hand them out, and you can
make sure that your
contact info is on there.
And contact info is on there, a little bit about yourself. Another thing when you're promoting yourself, don't be afraid to tell your own story. We go to a lot of these conferences and see people sitting behind the table and just sort of ignoring the people because it's hard to engage, right? Be engaging, be excited about your work. Don't be sort of too cool for school.
You got to promote yourself, even if it feels icky, because no one's going to take an interest if you don't.
Right.
All right, we have 3 more raised hands. Let's, Austin, I think, was next.
Austin.
And guys, we're not going to disappear at 3 o'clock. Yes. So if people want to ask questions, don't worry. We will stay on and answer them.
Okay, quick question. Do you have an age recommendation for your children's books?
Do we have age recommendations?
Yes.
Oh, for our books?
Yeah. Your children's books.
Yeah. So our picture books are usually for,
3 to 7,
baby to 7-year-old.
Yeah. The real McCoys, I would say age 6 to 12, whether you're going to be reading to kids or precocious 6-year-olds, and 12 seems to be about where kids start aging into more sophisticated content. And the new series, Cookie Chronicles, also the sort of 6 to 12, maybe 5 to 12. It's the slightly younger
or
protagonists.
5 to 10.
Yeah.
I think Cookie
No, they're
Chronicles,
saying to 12.
they are.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that's about the right age range for them. Thanks for asking.
All right. There were, let's see.
Joan, I think, was next.
Joan.
Yeah. Hi, Joan.
Hi. This is just a question out of curiosity.
Sure.
When I was a kid, my sister and I lived near a children's book illustrator. So she actually asked us over to sketch us into her book.
Cool.
We never saw the book. So I was wondering, Robbi, have you ever used real life inspiration, like your children, as models for your pictures?
I mean, for Sunrise Summer, our daughter is in this book, and so are our kids, but they're, you know, they're cartoon versions of themselves. Let me tell you a secret.
Say what you do to me.
Oh, I make Matthew look bad.
She makes me stand against the wall and do all sorts of weird things and takes a picture of me and uses it.
He's my model.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, what's really funny about the fact that I work in picture books is that I don't like drawing the same character again and again. I'm very terrible about being consistent with my characters.
You've had to draw Moxie McCoy about 900 times.
And I still, if somebody told me to draw her just out of the blue, I'd have trouble doing it. So that's not really my strong suit. So I don't like trying to pull from real people because they're always like, that doesn't look like me. So I don't actually do that. Shh, don't tell anyone I'm a bad artist.
But I do think that there is something about your default faces that are somewhat akin to our children. Yeah, I think that they're, Laura. Hello, Laura. Nice to see you.
Wait.
What?
There we go.
There we go. Laura was our Williams contemporary. Did we
well,
live?
so was Jane.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right. Was Laura there?
Wait, did I ask you to unmute? I'm going to try again.
All right.
There it is.
There she is. Hello, Laura. Nice.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you guys for doing this. This is so awesome. And such a bright light at the end of a dark week.
Okay. Okay.
So I put this in the chat earlier, but Robbi, you have lots and lots of kiddos of alumni on this Zoom, and curious how old you were when you started drawing and what your advice is for little aspiring illustrators.
Okay. Here's my just philosophical belief about art. We are all artists, guys. We all start out drawing. There is no kid who doesn't like to draw. What happens is we get to a certain age. Oh, there we go. Bye, Matthew. Matthew's tired. Matthew's tired of talking about art. He's done. What happens is you get older and you decide that you don't want to draw anymore for whatever reason. We're told that it's for little kids, but everybody starts out in elementary school. Everybody has art class. Everybody's drawing stuff. Everybody's creating stuff. And at a certain point, we decide that it's not cool or it's not what we want to do. All I did was I kept drawing. I just kept drawing. I drew because it was fun and I liked doing it. I wasn't actually particularly good at it. If I look back at some of the stuff that I did in college, it wasn't great, guys. I was not a great illustrator. I was not a great drawer. What I liked about Williams was that we learned about how to think about art, right? We learned about how to conceptualize stuff. The interesting stuff about art is the ideas, and the execution is stuff that you can learn, and you learn it by just doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it. You can't help but get better at art if you just keep doing it. So my advice is don't stop doing it. Most people stop doing it around 6th or 7th grade. And then they say, oh, why am I not a good artist? This is just because you stopped, not because you started out as a bad artist. You started out as a great artist.
It's also never too late to start drawing. I want to point to my seminal work, Matthew Draws, in which I draw celebrities, and then people have to guess who it is. And part of the fun is that I'm so bad at drawing celebrities that nobody knows. But you
wait, we know who that is.
Who's that?
That's such a great drawing, Matthew.
That is former President Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is not only do you not have to be a good artist to draw, but you can actually publish a book, because anybody can publish a book. You can publish a book if you're bad celebrity portraiture. I want to tell everybody something. You know that I've published lots of books. I, after Williams, applied to go to graduate school for writing because I wanted to be a writer. I applied to 6 universities and I got rejected 7 times. I got rejected by the University of Minnesota twice, 2 weeks in a row. The same guy sent me the same letter.
Different letters though. They had different dates on them.
Rejected me twice.
They were like, if you weren't clear last week, please don't come to the University of Minnesota.
No, none less than the great Jim Shepard recommended me to these graduate programs, and they still would not have me. So you guys, I could have given up at that point. Instead, I spent 10 years self-publishing a bunch of books with Robbi, learning how to become a better writer, making connections. meeting people in the publishing industry. And now, you know, I've published a bunch of books that I love because I got better as a writer and because I stuck with it. So let that be a lesson as well. All right. Nobody can tell you whether you're a writer or not. I was about to decide I wasn't a writer. And then old Robbi over here said, no, Matthew, be quiet. Keep doing it. You love it. Keep going.
That's the trick to being a writer is to keep writing.
That's all it takes. Do we have any more hands?
Yes, we have Lillian L. Puppy.
Oh, our friend L. Puppy. Hello, how are you?
Hello.
It's so nice to hear from you again.
I'm curious about how much fan mail do you receive in a week?
Well, Lillian, you were the one who sent us the most fan mail ever.
We so appreciate it.
Appreciate it. We don't get that much.
We don't. Mail. We would really like to hear from you guys more often. I sit by the mailbox, sort of going like this with my hands. Anybody out there that wants to write us, please do.
Let me tell you though, I do have to say, when we go on school visits, they always send us afterwards all of these thank you notes from hundreds of kids.
Hundreds of kids.
It's heartbreaking because we can't write back to each of those kids.
No.
And they do such wonderful drawings. And so, So we either get hundreds at one time or we get one from Lillian.
But here's the thing, you guys, if you like a book and you really like that author, chances are, if you write to that author, that will be a special thing for them. So you could send it to their publisher will send it on to them. You might be able to have some sort of a correspondence. I can't speak for other authors, but I love it to hear from you guys. Write me an email. That's super easy to respond to. I'd love to chat with you.
Yes.
Answer your questions.
All right.
At one point, my friend John said that Jack had a question. Does Jack have a question? I saw Jack, raise your hand if you have a question or write it in the sidebar.
Our email address is info@robbiandmatthew.com.
Now, guys, Robbi does not have an E after her name because her parents did not love her enough to give her the E.
Who needs it?
ROBBI.
Yeah.
And if you go to ROBBIE.com
and Matthew.com,
you get a Canadian wedding band.
That's not us.
And they look awesome. They look super fun.
Yep.
Not us, you guys.
They don't want to answer your emails about our books.
The best way to follow us if you just want a simple social media is Instagram. And we are Robbi, ROBBI.AND.Matthew.com. We do stories. We do our video every day. We do pictures sometimes, but you'll always know when books are coming out.
And we can send all this stuff to you.
Yeah.
I do have, I have a piece of sales to do. Oh. Somebody asked where you got that sweater. Matthew got the sweater for Christmas.
Birthday, Robbi.
For your birthday, sorry. I think it's called Mccoy.com, or look up Mccoy, and they have all different Marvel comics and they have DC too, I think.
I thought you knit this sweater for me, Robbi, with your hands. This is very discouraging and disappointing.
You know what? If I knit that, you wouldn't get it for another 200 years.
That's true. So it would have various holes and
we
snags.
would be in the 400th anniversary of the Williams Alumni Society of Alumni. Okay, so
what's
I don't
next?
think we have any more questions up there.
Do we have comments? Is anyone outraged?
We have lots of things.
Does anyone want to share some consternation?
Joan said Clinton looks like Christopher Walken. When we do Matthew Draws, we sometimes post it online and people guess online. Every single person every single one that we've done, somebody has guessed Christopher Walken, just because all of Matthew's men drawings look like Christopher Walken, and some of his women drawings too.
How did you get your first book published by a publisher? This is a wonderful story, actually. So we made this book that we showed you guys, 10,000 Stories. It has this interesting mix and match format. And a guy from Disney purchased it at an independent press show in New York City.
Museum of Comic and Cartoon Arts Expo.
It's called MoCA. Okay, you pay.
If you ever can, get down to New York and do that one.
There's also one in DC called SPX.
Small Press Expo.
So we sold this to a guy unknowingly. His name was Jesse. Who knows if he was nice to us that day? We don't remember it.
Yeah.
He took it. He put it in his office. He went to a production meeting one day.
2 years later.
At Little Brown, which is one of the big 6 publishers, and someone there was interested in making a mix and match book. And she said, does anyone know anybody who works in this format? And Jesse said, oh yeah, I have that book that we did, that those guys did. And as a result of that, we got to make the Superhero Squad book, okay? In this book, you guys, Robbi was handed a big file full of clip art, meaning she did not get to draw the superheroes.
Nope.
She had to use pre-existing drawings of Dr. Doom or Captain Marvel or anyone and sort of fit them into this format.
You know, they're so careful about how their characters are depicted that they don't let illustrators actually draw them. There's one set that you draw from. If you look in any other superhero squad series, you will see the exact same characters, just in the exact same positions. It's just all clip art. So
so anyway, we were hired to do this book,
yeah,
in which we didn't get to flex a lot of our creativity or our uniqueness, and our names are in about 4-point font in the back. But this created a relationship with the editor who published Baby Zoo and Everything, Everywhere Wonder, and The Real Mccoys. Yeah. So, and Sunrise Summer. So it was doing this book that wasn't really in our sweet spot that opened up the opportunity. So,
and it was super fluky, except that, like, if we hadn't, we always say this, if we hadn't been at that small press expo,
yeah,
set up our table, lugged all our books up to New York City, if we hadn't done all that stuff.
And to your point, to Molly, if we hadn't been standing behind our table, sort of proudly saying, here's our stuff.
Right.
Interested this guy to buy this book, that never would have happened, and who knows what would have happened. That was our big break.
So one of our biggest pieces of advice is to just keep showing up. You just keep showing up. Eventually, you know, all of our connections have happened sort of flukily. So I see that John, yes, Jack was showing us something.
All right, I unmuted you, John Mahoney and Jack.
All right, here we are.
What do you have here? Did you make a book? Nice.
Awesome drawing.
My question was, when you flip these, can you draw something from here going to here and then flip it?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Now, the other thing you can do is if you fold it the opposite direction, if you make that an infold instead of an outfold, then you can also connect those top pieces, right? It's a little bit, it's complicated, but where's our...
complicated.
Yeah, so you can fold it this way, right? Or you can fold it this way. And so then you have different combinations that you can do.
Maybe I can ask a different question related. Sure. Where do you start? Do you start by drawing the little connecting lines, or how do you think about starting?
You know what, John? We have a template that allows you to make a book like this that we do workshops sometimes. So write me an email. We have each other's email addresses. I'll send you guys one of the templates. Because it's basically you create some lines, and then you have to just draw things that connect the lines on either side of the break.
But also you can't draw anything else, right?
Right.
So on this one, the only places I can cross over are right there and right there. Otherwise, if you draw something coming down here, it'll get cut off, right? So you have to be careful only to cross over in those spots. Right?
It's kind of like a math challenge.
It's actually, once you figure it out, it's not as clever as it seems.
The writing for me is just making sure the grammatical transition is the same time every time you cross. So anyway,
so if you treat it sort of like a Mad Lib in the writing, where every time you cross over, you're using an adjective. Every time you cross over there, you're using an adverb.
Yeah.
Then it works.
I got to say, Jack, your dad sent me one of your drawings and it was so awesome. Keep going. I loved your drawing. It was so cool. All right. Keep it up, bud.
All right.
All right. Do we have any more?
All right. Alyssa's daughter would like to show us a picture too.
Sure.
Now, where is Alyssa?
Maybe if Alyssa unmutes herself.
Oh, there we go. I think we're already unmuted.
Oh, okay. Hi. Well, I can't see you, unfortunately.
We're trying to find you.
Okay.
Hold on.
But you go ahead. We'll imagine you.
No, well, we have to see it.
Oh, right. We do have to see her.
Spring, the flowers grow.
Ooh.
That sounds wonderful.
Picture. She just drew this while you were talking.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, thank you for sharing it with us.
Yeah, I can. Here we go. Where are we?
Oh, right there. Go back. There she is. There she is.
There
oh.
Oh, nicely done.
I love how colorful it is. Look at those beautiful flowers.
And through the night.
You know.
Wow, you've been very busy while we've been jabbering away up here.
Can I tell you something? You're an author and an illustrator. I'm only an author and Robbi's only an illustrator. You are more skilled than we are.
You're also an illustrator.
All right. What I'm saying is you're awesome. Thank you for sharing that with us. Please keep writing books.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see.
Can we, do you have the buttons down here? My friend Drew Bunting from the class of 97 just showed up. Drew Bunting.
No, I don't.
You don't have our theme songs? we have our own theme songs that our friend Drew Bunting and his sons wrote for us, and so I would love to play them for you right now.
Play them.
This is very disappointing. I got everybody's hopes up. All right. I would like to promote the music by Drew Bunting that's available on iTunes and other platforms.
Class of '97.
We created 3 children's albums with Drew, all amazing.
And we created a grown-up album.
And a grown-up album.
Yeah.
The New South is a grown-up album.
Beautiful.
The Jetpack is the most recent children's album that we created. All Williams creators: Brian Slattery, class of '97, Drew Bunting, the most punk rocking preacher you will ever meet. Go to iTunes, type in Drew Bunting, listen to 3 albums of amazing children's songs, most of which were not written by me. Only a few were. Most were written by Drew and some by Brian.
Who are excellent musicians.
They are
Whereas
not.
Matthew.
It's children's music that is very delicious and wonderful to adults. It is not a cloying, obnoxious children's music.
Yes.
There, I just tipped my hand. But go check out Drew's stuff. All right. What else do we have here? Anyone else? Have we gotten to the bottom of the? Yeah. Here, while we're shilling, I'm gonna.
Oh, Matthew's looking for something now, fussling around.
No, I don't see it.
All right. I think we got everyone. Did we get everyone? Yeah. Sorry. What was your joint Instagram account again? Okay. Here, I'll write it in here. It's Robbi. Robbi.and.Matthew. Okay.
All right, here we go. No, I'm going to show you.
Oh, all right.
We've got I Don't Want to Brush My Teeth with the seminal song I Don't Want to Brush My Teeth and 7 other hot tracks. And then we have Where Is My Chicken by Drew Bunting. There is a song on here called I Woke Up with a Cracker in My Pants that is the greatest piece of children's music I have ever encountered.
Yes.
It is a Beastie Boys send up about a young man who discovers a cracker in his pants. It is wonderful. It is delightful. If you don't listen to it, your life will not be complete. And then there is Jetpack, which this wonderful illustration that Rob. So anyway, Difficult in Space. You Are My Son by Matthew Swanson. Guys, these are really good. I just recommend.
Yes.
All right.
One of the best things about going to Williams is collaborating with super smart, talented people.
Astonishing people. Yeah. Oh my goodness, the people who have come into our lives and made our lives better as a result of Williams College. Thank you.
Super grateful and lucky
Thank
to
you,
have
Eve.
gotten the opportunity to not be a mammoth.
And thanks for the folks at the Society of Alumni for inviting us to do this. Guys, there are 3 more modules, classes coming up in the weeks ahead. One of them is about making purple cocktails, I think. And I should be a better promoter of other people's content. But go to the website where you signed up for this. There are 2 more. I hope that maybe our friends at Alumni Relations can promote
Baking, cocktails, and yoga.
There you go. Baking, cocktails, and yoga.
What's not to love?
But
please add a cheese ball, maybe something about cheese balls. That would be great for winter study number 5.
Robbie, I'm sorry I dumped a bunch of cheese balls on your head during our program.
I'm not sorry.
It wasn't very professional. It's not the way a professional professor should carry himself. It's not very decorous.
Oh, look, one of them escaped.
What are you going to do with? Oh, I don't think that was an accident, my friends. What else do we have here? We have some thanks. Oh, you guys.
Everybody's just being nice.
We certainly had fun. We're still here. If there's anything you'd like to say or
you can
ask.
look at our YouTube that has stuff. If you go to YouTube and search Robbi and Matthew, we also did. During quarantine, we did a show where we did stuff every day, and that was super fun.
I think there's 100 hours of children's programming on our YouTube site that we made over the first 3 months of quarantine. So if your kids are bored, and
also I'm going to copy this link for you guys. We do have lots of downloadables on our site that include some of these things, but also are just if you're trying to keep kids busy. There's some fun stuff. Oh, hi Scott Case. Bye Scott Case. Cindy has a question. All right, here we go. I'm going to ask you to unmute.
But I don't see Cindy,
We're
unfortunately.
so bad at trying to find people.
Yeah, here
I hear you.
So I had wanted to attend, but I got distracted on something else. So I'm wondering if this is being recorded.
It is being recorded. And I believe that the Society of Alumni is going to send a follow-up email that will allow everyone to watch it.
Oh, that's very good. And do you work with an agent or no?
We do. We have 2 kinds of agents. We have a literary agent who represents us on the book front. And she's like most literary agents are in New York City. And she's the one who helps pitch our work when we create a new project. She is the one that negotiates all the business deals with the editors at the publishing companies, but she also is our career advisor. She gives us a sounding board when we're thinking about new projects. She also created connections with 2 agents in Los Angeles that work for a big talent agency there. So she put our work into the hands of these agents, who then sold it to a producer who we're working with to create a television pitch based on one of our book series. So, so you have different agents for the 2 different types of media.
So would it be out of order to ask you who your New York literary agent is?
Well, it would be irrelevant only because the agent connection is very personal. It's about what you're trying to create and what that agent is trying to, or is interested in producing. So there are websites where you can learn about the different agents and what their lists are. What they're are they interested in nonfiction, in fiction, in children's, in political, in art books?
Yeah. It's the most important thing about finding an agent, which we actually found out because we had an agent before this agent who was not a good match for us. So one of the most important things is finding an agent who will represent you well. And that means having, you really do have to be very specific about what you want from your agent. And your agent has to want what is best from you. The problem that we had with our first agent was that she was always pitching stuff that was not actually the stuff that we wanted to do. So it is, there's hundreds of agents out there. And unfortunately, you have to do a ton of research, and it's hard to get the attention of agents, right? So Matthew's typing something and he's looking for,
No, there's a wonderful book called However Many Reasons Your Book Will Not Be Published.
I think it's like 37 or something.
And no, it's even more than that. And 80 reasons your book will not be published. But then it's, but 30 reasons why it will. And it's a really good synopsis of how this works, how you find an agent, how you, all right. We're going to do a follow-up email to anyone who, I'm so frustrated.
You type it in Google instead of.
Can you do that while I'm talking? So it talks about how you get agents, what agents are interested in, how you pitch, how you put together your proposal for them, how you just frame yourself. There we go. 78 reasons why your book may never be published and 14 reasons why it just might. We'll put it in the chat. I cannot recommend this book enough in terms of just getting a sense of the landscape. And it's discouraging on purpose because the numbers are against you, but it's also encouraging because it shows you the things that you need to do in order to put yourself in the right sort of position to have a chance at this. It's mostly about persistence, doggedness, and being willing to put yourself out there.
But in terms of agents, it's super about
match,
making a good match. Yeah. It's kind of like getting married.
It might be even more important than choosing a good spouse in some ways. I don't know.
Turns out.
No. Anyway,
okay.
I hope that was helpful.
We have one final request before we stop.
Oh, from El Puppy?
El Puppy wants us to share some jokes.
El Puppy was there every single day of our live show for the first 3 months of quarantine. Yes. And she showed up every day with jokes. With jokes. So here's some jokes for you from the next generation of Williams College superstars. All right?
All right. What do you get if you divide the circumference of a pumpkin by its diameter?
I'm not good at the maths. I don't know, Robbi. What do you get?
Pumpkin pie.
Oh, pumpkin pie. See, El Puppy's always bringing stuff like that.
That's a good one, El Puppy. That took some math.
I think El Puppy ought to create a joke.
One more.
Well, another?
And this one's appropriate. This one's, you know.
All right, I'm ready.
Where do forest animals get their reading material?
Where do they get their reading material? From the trees? I don't know.
You're usually good at this.
From the library?
The what?
The library?
The library.
The library. All right. Thank you, El Puppy. All right.
All right.
Are we?
So I think we're done. Are we done?
Should we let people glide into their Saturday afternoons? Friends, if you haven't done it yet, and if you want to stay in touch with us, Robbi, put our link in the our Robbi and Matthew contact. If you go to our website and add your email address to this form, we will have your email address and we will send a follow-up with the links and the downloadables. And when Robbi finishes this little book that we all wrote together, that was the most exciting thing, you guys.
Fun. A Purple Tail.
I'm so excited that worked. Thank you, Proof of Concept. Oh, this is a very exceptional crowd. I don't know. If we did this at Amherst College, we'd probably have a very boring book with no content, no conflict. Anyway. Friends, this has been a real pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming, everyone.
Go Williams, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.